Hello, all you cool cats and kittens. Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I felt like if I was going to do a little streaming video, I had to start at least one with that. Anyway, coming at you today with Merrill's Monday Morning Market Madness with an update on what is going on in the Phoenix housing market and what we're seeing, what the trends are so far. I think it's a big question in a lot of people's mind. What's going to happen with the housing market, the home values? I know, in the last recession that we hit caused a major catastrophe with home values, very specifically in the Phoenix metro area, was one of the hardest hit in the nation. So a lot of people are concerned and worried about what's going to happen this time as we're heading into most likely another recession. What are we going to see home values plummet in half again? It's the number one question that I'm getting from most of my clients and leads and people that I'm talking to is, is now a good time to sell? Is now a bad time to sell? Is now a good time to buy or a bad time to buy? Am I an idiot for trying to buy a home right now if home values are getting ready to drop by 50% or even 10%? And so my hope is to lead with data and just kind of talk to you about what we're seeing in the numbers. The numbers don't lie. People lie, but numbers don't. So let's see what we're seeing so far. As I start every episode with the total number of active, pending, and sold listings, I like to look at a number called the month's supply of inventory. If no new homes were allowed to be on the market, at the current pace which homes are selling, how long would it take for everything to be sold? Historically speaking, a really nice balanced market would have about a 4-month supply of inventory, and anything greater than that would have there'd be so much supply that buyers could, really have the pick of the litter, put in lowball offers, and over time you would see home values probably start to fall. And if you see a month supply of inventory lower than that, that means there's not a lot of options out there for buyers, and oftentimes you might even see multiple offers on properties, and buyers have to be more aggressive with their offers, and over time you're going to see home values rising. So right now we have 14,324 active listings. Now, here's the thing that's really, really exciting to me about that number. A week ago, last Monday, when I did my previous show, if you watched any of my previous episodes, I had told you at that time there were 14,500 or so active listings. And I had said, hey, we're seeing from 2 weeks ago, it's 2 weeks ago to a week ago, so 14 days ago to 7 days ago, we had only seen an increase in the total number of active listings by about 70 listings over the course of a week. So we had seen a massive slowdown. At the lowest point, we were only at 10,900 listings. So over the last, a month and a half, we've gone from 10,900 to 14,300. But the really exciting part about that is that since last Monday, so 7 days ago, that has decreased. We went from 14,500 and whatever it was down to 14,324. It was a drop in 225 listings over the week. Another way of thinking about that is that every day over this past week, 32 more homes went under contract or came off the market than there were that were listed on average. So it's all a supply and demand question, right? As we see the supply start to fall, then that means we've been seeing it go up, and now it seems to be turning the corner and is going down. We'll keep a close eye on that trend and see if it continues. I believe that it will, and that means that we're already going back into a decreasing supply, and it's still low, believe it or not. So with 14,324 active listings, that is still less than we had at this same time last year. So despite everything that we've gone through, despite the massive increase in active listings from 10,900 to 14,500, it is still less than we had available for sale even at this time last year. Here's the other exciting piece. There's 9,982 pending listings. That is an increase from last Monday of 427. The 427 more pending listings today than there were last Monday. And that, I'm sure, is playing a huge factor in the decrease in active listings. A lot more homes went under contract over this past week. Matter of fact, that number of 9,982 pending listings is the highest we've seen the pending listings count since April 2nd. So almost a month. It's taken us almost a month to get back up to almost 10,000. I'm sure by next, assuming the trend continues, by next Monday, I'm expecting that we will actually have more than 10,000 pending listings, and that trend should continue. Now, the only bad news number in all of these is the total number of closed listings in the last 30 days was only 6,676, which is the lowest that we've had since December or January, which are the slowest months. So we've been averaging most weeks 7,000 to 8,000 closed listings over the last 30 days. But the closed in the last 30 days is a little bit of a trailing indicator, a lag measure, because the homes have to go under contract first, and then it's taking 30 to 45 days on average for most of those deals to close. So the 6,676 closed listings over the last 30 days is really a measure of what was going on in the market 30 to 45 days ago, not what's going on in the market today. So because that closed number is so low, our month supply of inventory has increased above 2 for the first time. We're up to 2.15. But keep in mind, a month supply of inventory of around 4-ish would be considered a fairly balanced market. We're still significantly below that. And with the total number of active listings already starting to decline, I don't think that we're going to see that get even up to 2.5. I think by next Monday, we'll probably see, it might take 2 weeks, but within 2 weeks, we'll start seeing that month supply of inventory number go back into the ones and decrease sharply from there. Now, one of the things I've talked about on previous episodes is what portions of the market were getting hit the hardest. As I did in my show last week, the total number of I was explaining that house values so far haven't fallen. In fact, prices per foot have been increasing on average, even through all of this. When we look at the closed listings, the average price per foot has increased. And I mentioned that may be because we've been seeing fewer luxury homes, high-end homes, fewer, humongous homes closing. So I did some research on that so that I could provide you some accurate numbers. And I looked at, so of the 6,676 homes that we've had closed in the last 30 days, what percentage of those fell into which price range? So 13% of those homes were under 200,000. And then 37% were between 200,000 and 300,000, by far the biggest category. 24% were between 300,000 and 400,000, and 11% were between 400,000 and 500,000. 9% were between 500,000 and 700,000. 4% were between 700,000 and $1 million, and only 3% of the homes were above $1 million. So then I said, okay, well, how do those percentages compare to what happened in February? Because February, of course, coronavirus existed at that time, but it wasn't, definitely didn't feel like it was affecting us too dramatically in terms of the housing market. So interestingly, the percentage of homes that are selling by price range in February as compared to the last 30 days is almost identical percentage-wise. Under 200 was 14%, so it was actually 1% higher in February. 200 to 300 was 38%, so it was actually 1% higher. 300 to 400 was 23%, so it was 1% lower. 400 to 500 was 10%, so it was 1% lower. But the luxury stuff, 700 to $1 million and above $1 million, were almost identical in terms of the percentage of market share, 4% and 3%. So yes, we're seeing fewer homes sell. The month of February, we had 7,476 closings. And over the last 30 days, we've had almost 1,000 fewer homes, 6,676 closings. So certainly there are less homes closing right now than there were in February, and a lot less than we would see in a typical March and April, May, time frame. But the distribution of those sales, the percentage of sales that is happening by price range is remaining almost identical. So that's really interesting, and we'll continue to monitor that. But the the biggest takeaway from this episode, thing I'm most excited about, we are now seeing a decrease in supply. And should that trend continue and hold, house values are going to be absolutely fine. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if they end up going up on average for the year. So not expecting a drop in home values just because the inventory is so dramatically low. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions about it, or you want to know more specifically what's going on in your area, your neighborhood, your city, I'd be happy. I actually love doing this. I know some people are like, oh my gosh, these numbers are so boring. I find it incredibly fascinating, and I would be happy to help. So please feel free to reach out to me, and hope you all have a great day.